everyone, thank you for joining me for our craft program today. I'm Stacy, the Teen Services Librarian at the Naper Boulevard Library, and I'm here to show you how to make a infinity photo cube. And this is my example here. This is a really fun craft that you can do using a few of your favorite photos or maybe just some fun ones you have laying around. My sample here has many of my adorable little cats being very playful and ridiculous. So I'm going to show you how, using just a few simple supplies, you can create your own infinity photo cube that you can give as a gift or just keep for yourself to enjoy. It's also a really great fidget tool. So I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need to make this craft along with us. Alright, so here are the supplies you're going to need to make this craft with us. If you were able to sign up ahead of time online and pick up one of our craft kits, almost all this was included, but otherwise it's really easy to find these things at any hobby store or craft store nearby. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 8 wooden cubes, and these ones are 1 inch. You can also do 1.5 inch. That will make a bigger photo cube, but just go with whatever size you'd like. For this one, we're going to be doing the 1 inch. And then you're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need either a glue stick, or if you have good old-fashioned rubber cement, this works as well. Just make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. You're also going to need some tape. You could either use duct tape, or you can also use what I purchased are these duct tape sheets that are then really easy to cut into the sizes that we need. We are going to need 16 pieces that are 1 inch by 1/2 inch. You can see I have cut some pre-length, but if you're doing this, you're just gonna have to make sure that you're cutting in half of this strip. So any option, these are gonna get covered up. You're not gonna see these, so it doesn't matter what color or shape or whatever kind you wanna use. Just make sure it is a nice heavy-duty tape. I also have a pencil just in case you need that for marking your photos. So the other thing you're going to need are some photos to decorate our cube. And in our kits, and also linked online, is a template for all of the sizes of the photos you're going to need. You are going to need 8 photos that are roughly 2 inches by 2 inches, slightly less, but as you know, when we cut them out, we usually don't get exactly 2 by 2 or whatever, so that'll work great. But you're gonna need 8 of those, and then you're gonna need 8 that are 2 inches by 4 inches. So I have this template included so you can cut out your own photos, but if you are doing our craft kit, we have some silly little memes that I have printed out in the correct shapes for you, so that if you want to just start right along with us, you don't have to start searching. But one of the great things is that these can make a really good gift if you go ahead and maybe put some of your favorite photos on here. Like I said, I have my very lovely cat's business cat, who I love so much, and you can see I've played with it a lot, so it's gotten a little well-worn and loved, but that's okay, because what we want is something that is fun to play with and useful and doesn't just sit and collect dust. So we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. You're gonna wanna follow along closely, because the very most important thing when doing this is to make sure we tape these blocks together in the correct order. So please feel free to pause and go back and follow along as we do this. And let's get started with our photo cube, infinity photo cube making. All right, so our first steps are going to be getting all of our shapes together here. So once again, using our templates, you're going to want to cut out your 8 2x2 photos and your 2 2x4 photos. Like I said, I have included a little silly memes about book page, because why not? And I have gone ahead and already cut those out for ease of this demonstration. You want to make sure it's better if they're a little bit smaller than a little bit bigger. They have to not be bigger than our blocks here, which unfortunately, you know, they're not perfect. It's not going to be a perfect 2 inch by 2 inch, so just keep in mind you may be doing a little trimming as we go along. But once you have all those cut out and decided on, I'm going to set those aside for now. And another thing to remember is if you're using these and you are going to use actual photo paper, it is a lot thicker. So I would actually suggest if you could print something off either from your home printer or at the library using just regular paper. It does tend to work better when you are moving it around, but just something to keep in mind when you are creating your images. So we're gonna set those aside here along with our glue and our scissors because we don't need those right now. And what we are going to need, put my sample over here, we're gonna need our blocks and our tape. Like I said, we're using roughly 1 inch by 1/2 inch little strips when we're doing this. You can cut out a whole bunch ahead of time using your regular duct tape, or you can do it as you go along. It doesn't have to be precise, but we just want to make sure that we're not using too much tape because we are going to be covering this up and creating some hinges, and that's how these blocks are going to be moving. So another important thing is, like I said previously, is to follow along with me because it's very easy to get confused and accidentally tape the wrong blocks together in the wrong pattern, and then your little fidgety block will not flip and spin and you'll be very sad. So follow along and pause the video as needed. So we're gonna set some of these aside, and first we're gonna start with our first two blocks here. And what we are going to do here is take our first little strip and we are going to remove the backing if you're using these ones that I had here. If not, you're going to cut them into the correct sizes. So I have my little unstuck one here, and we're going to tape these together like so. Easy peasy. And we're creating a hinge. So we're gonna do that with our sets here. So we're gonna do another set of 2, and I find it's really helpful to line them up like I have them lined up. I watched a video from another lovely teen librarian who showed me how she made these work, and it helped to sort of follow along and keep everything nicely organized as we go. So we are going to make sure that we are doing this for these first few sets here. Let me unstick here and just roughly the middle. So we're gonna do that for our first 4 blocks here, or 4 sets, excuse me, 4 sets of 2 blocks, like so. Okay, so now we have our first 4 sets here. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to flip these so that we can see the little hinge of the tape. So we're going to flip it over like so that we can see our hinge here. And you probably are going to guess what we're going to do here. So flip it like that. We're going to line these up like so that you can see our little tape hinge right here. Hopefully y'all can see that there. So now we want those set up like that, and we are going to now do another round of taping, and we're going to tape right over these hinges. Once again, you want to make sure you can see them, you know you've got them right, and we're going to take our tape and just retape over right over those hinges as if they're not even there. So let me unstick my tape here. This is the only problem when you use this kind instead of the regular old-fashioned duct tape. You gotta take some time to unstick it. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to tape right over that so that we cover up the hinge as much as possible, and then that sticky bit doesn't get all over our photos later. So I'm gonna do that for all of these, like so. So we're using 8 little pieces of tape to start. Oh, there wasn't any on there. Make sure you throw your little backings over to the side and not back in your pile. There we go. And one more. Wonder how long I would have been trying that. Okay. And there you go. We can see now we have our hinges set up like that. And we are going to then, from this point, move to our next step. Okay, now for our next step, this is important. We are going to rearrange these blocks in a certain way so that way they will open and close the way we want. So I'm going to move the top and the bottom of these down to the side. And then what I'm going to do is we are going to take one of these and we are going to make it so that the tape hinge part that we had here is on the outside of each. So I have like this. So they were like this, these two, and we're just going to kind of flip them so that our hinges, tape hinges, are on the outside like so. And this is the tricky part. So make sure you follow along. If you get to a point and it doesn't look like it's working, let's go back to this step because this is usually where everybody can get a little confusing if you're not paying attention. So once again, we had these lovely ones set up like this. We're gonna move these two just slightly aside. And what I'm gonna do is twist these like that and then flip them to the side, like so. Okay, and now, and what we're gonna do is we are gonna flip this whole thing over to the side where there's no tape. So I'm gonna hold this like this and flip it over, and there we go. And now this side, we're gonna do some taping that's gonna create our nice structure for our infinity photo cube. So now that we have these all set up, we are going to do some strategic taping here to tape these together. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tape pieces and we're gonna tape these two together just like we did the other ones, like so. Okay, so we're gonna do one like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing next to it, like so. And we're gonna do the same thing for these two. And that is how we're gonna get our base shape for our photo cube that's gonna keep fidgety spinning and creating numerous ways for our photos to be displayed. So there's that. And that, like so. So you can see that we've kind of created so far a slight hinging thing. Okay, so now that we have these all taped together, this is our next important step to get the rest of our pieces taped together so that it will continue to move and not fall apart. So what we're gonna do is first we're going to open our blocks like so. So we were here, we're gonna flip them like that. And that's our first step. And this is just so that we can make sure to get our tape the way we want it. So now that we have these two strips showing like that, we're going to open it again. We have these two, and now one more. And you can see, this is how we got to another side that has all of these hinge tape showing. So we are gonna do what we did that very first step and tape these two together over this hinge, these two together, these two together, and these two together. So if that was a little confusing, go back and watch it again how I opened it, and we're gonna get here. So let's go ahead and start taping our hinges like this. Bottom two, like so. You're doing great, everyone. I've watched many an adult struggle with this, so I know you are gonna follow the directions and you're gonna do amazing on this. So that's that tape there. And we are done. That is our taping. And you can see once I close, I now have our never-ending flipping photo cube. So that may have been a little bit difficult. I hope you were all able to follow along, but you can see that once we've got it going, we have a nice base for our photos to get added. So we are going to make sure these are nice and secure. Just give it a good stick. And now we're going to move to our next step, adding our photos. All right, now for our fun part. Now, you could keep this just as a fun old fidget toy without adding photos, but if you'd like to continue on, what we're going to do now is we're going to take our photos that we cut out and we are going to affix them to the sides of our cubes. Now, there's a lot of different ways people do this. Some people glue it onto the outside like this and then score it with a X-Acto knife. I don't particularly like that because I always somehow cut through the tape and then this is gonna fall right apart. So what I'm going to suggest that we do for this is I am going to actually prep my photos by either folding them in half like this and then folding them in half like this in order to get, you got it, 4 squares that then we can then cut and glue piece by piece onto here. It's a little extra step, but I feel like I enjoy doing it this way, so that way I know that I have not accidentally destroyed my photo cube by cutting through the tape. So you can also use your pencil and a ruler and be a lot more intricate, but for me, I'm gonna go ahead and for each of these sides, first we're gonna start with our squares, and then we'll do our rectangles last. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut along my fold lines that I made, like so, into 4 little squares. And then puzzle it together. Here's my grumpy cat that I made, like so. And you can see that what we're gonna do is we are going to glue it, so make sure that all of our corners meet in the center like that. The edges, it's okay if there's a little bit extra less. Like I said, I printed these slightly smaller because our cubes are not perfect inch cubes. I know it's amazing, but they are not perfect. So I would rather that we have fun little photos that match up than worry about it filling the whole side. So once you have this, you can use just your plain old glue stick, and I like to cover it, and if you have a easier work surface that you can get glue on, it works a little better. I don't want to get glue on my paper here, but you are just going to then glue that onto our block right about the corner there. And you're gonna press that down and you're gonna let it dry, and you're gonna puzzle piece it together like that, and we're gonna create each side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Make sure that you get everything nice and covered. In fact, I'm going to use this as my gluing area. If you have some like wax paper or another good surface that is good for easy cleanup with glue stick, that is also helpful. So we're just gonna line them up on our cube like so. And I will most likely fast forward through some of these later on, but I'm gonna do one side here so you can see. We're going to go and try and make sure that we cover up that tape, especially since I use glittery tape, which looks fabulous, but will definitely show up a little bit more if you care about that sort of thing. So I'm just going to line it up like that, press it down, and there's our first side. I didn't sign up for summer reading program once. It was terrible. Grumpy cat. So what we're, like I said, you're just going to make sure that it is nice and glued down like so. And then what I like to do is I'm going to move this one right and left and do each of these around the side first, and then move to the top and move to the bottom. So go ahead and get to gluing and cutting all of your square pictures. I'm going to fast forward this so that you don't all have to watch me do lots of careful cutting and gluing, and we will be back with our next step. Okay, I have all of my sides attached and glued on with my memes. So now what I'm going to do is open it up like so. Either way you open it up, you just want to get one of these 2x4 sides facing out. So it does not matter which side you do it. So we're going to go with that one. And now I am going to do the same thing and attach my big long 2" by 4" one. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna fold it in half, cut it, and then cut into 4 little squares. So you're gonna do that for both of these. So first we'll do this one. And like so. I like to sometimes go ahead and cut like this. I have my 2 sides here, and I am going to go ahead and cut these into 4 roughly equal squares. Don't worry about making this one super precise. We're just having some fun with all of these. This also becomes like a puzzle if you're not paying attention to how you cut everything apart. So we're just going to, same thing, use our squares as a guideline. Glue these together. Like so. So that might help if you feel like your puzzle pieces aren't working and you're forgetting where the next piece goes. No worries. There we go. And while our summer is winding down and I am gluing, I'm going to remind everyone not to forget to sign up for summer reading. There is still time. We go until August 15th, and you still have some time to get some neat prizes, some free books just for reading. So make sure you look online on our website for that, or come on in and talk to us so you can kind of see. I had a few summer reading themed memes here, but yeah, we still have lots of great prizes at all of our locations, so don't forget. And there is definitely still time to get some reading in along with your crafting. So now we got our final steps here. There we go. So we're going to glue these. And after you glue these, if they start coming loose, feel free to go back and re-glue them. Sometimes you think you got every corner, but maybe you missed a little, and that's okay. It's a nice thing about the glue stick. It is super forgiving. The glue stick does work better than Elmer's or white glue, so just keep that in mind when you're choosing what kind you want to do. So there we go. Now we have one of our big inside pieces. And so you can either flip like that, get another inside piece, or you can flip around and go like that to get another inside piece. It doesn't really matter either way, because eventually we are going to get 2 squares that, you guessed it, our last 2 will go on. So I am going to, let's see, we'll go like this and open it the other way. And I'll do this side. But once again, it does not matter as long as you get one of your sides available. So you can add your photo of Professor McGonagall being very angry because someone's disturbing her while she's reading. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this, and then we will come back to show where our last 2 squares will be glued and attached. All right, and here we have our last long rectangle piece glued in, and you can see where our other one is on the inside here. But so next step here is just, you're gonna fold it one more time and make sure that it looks like everything is attached. And we're just gonna keep folding it until we get to a spot where we have 2 open squares, and that is where we are going to attach our last 2 photos. Now you might, as you're flipping it, you might get to a spot where, I just saw it over here, where is it? Where they're next to each other. That's okay. So they're actually here in here. So you would do these 2 here, like so. Or if you're doing it, I do one more and then all of a sudden they're on the edge like they were before, and you can orient it any way you want and cut it and glue it. So once you do that, we are completed. So let's go to our end result here. All right, and once we have our last 2 photos attached, we are good to go, and we are done with our infinity photo cube. So you can see that we have our fun memes on this side, and then as you move it around, you're gonna see memes everywhere all along. And if you made this with photos, you'd have some photos everywhere, and you never know what you're gonna get as you are flipping through and taking a look at all of our cool photos and silly memes. So one thing that you do want to keep in mind is that you do want to let these dry before you start flipping too much. I obviously did not have the time in this video to let everything dry completely, but the more dry you let your glue stick get, the better it will adhere. You can always go back and re-glue bits. But I hope everyone had fun doing this craft, and I hope you enjoyed our craft series that we presented this summer for you. And take a look at our website, www.naperville-lib.org, and our fall programs will be appearing very shortly, if not already by the time you view this video. So please look into signing up for some of our fall craft programs and joining us for our next session. And thank you once again for everyone who signed up and followed along with these videos over this summer. And don't forget to come in and pick up your summer reading prizes. August 15th, our last day. Come pick up prizes and come in and say hi to us. So thanks everyone, and I hope to see you all very soon.